I used to think closing my curtains was just about privacy. Now I close them before I even turn on a light. Because for almost 3 weeks, someone across from me knew exactly where I was inside my apartment. This happened my first winter living alone. I was 25, working remote customer support from 11 at night until 3 in the morning. The pay was not great, but it let me afford a small second floor apartment and feel independent. The complex was old, but not scary. 2 brick buildings faced each other across a narrow courtyard with dim yellow security lights. Most tenants were students, families, or older people. My bedroom window faced the building across from me. My desk sat right in front of it because that was where the Wi-Fi worked best. Every night I sat there with my laptop, headset, coffee, and a small lamp beside the screen. In winter, the glass fogged slightly from the heat inside. Through it, I could see small pieces of other apartments, a TV flashing blue, someone cooking, a balcony light turning on. So when I noticed one window directly across from mine, with the blinds always tilted halfway open, I did not care. In that complex, everyone's windows faced someone else's. You learned not to stare. The first time it bothered me was after midnight on a Tuesday. I was between calls, rubbing my eyes, when I saw a dark shape behind those half-open blinds. It looked like a person standing still, facing my window. I thought it was a coat or chair near the glass. Then I leaned closer. The shape moved, just enough that the blinds shifted like someone had stepped back. I froze, then immediately felt embarrassed. I told myself it was probably just another tenant looking outside. Maybe they were watching TV in the dark. Accidental eye contact was normal when buildings were that close. Still, I lowered my laptop screen that night so it covered part of my face. After that, I noticed the window more than I wanted to. The blinds never fully closed. Sometimes the room was dark. Sometimes a weak yellow light came on for only a few minutes. Then I noticed the timing. My shift started at 11. Around 10:55, I made coffee, turned on my desk lamp, and logged in. A few nights in a row, the light across the courtyard came on after mine. It could have been a coincidence. People have routines. That is what I kept telling myself. But one night, I got up to refill my water bottle, and as I crossed the room, the dark outline behind the opposite blinds seemed to shift too. I stopped in the hallway. The shape stopped. I waited there, feeling ridiculous, then went to the kitchen. When I came back, I could not see anyone. A few nights later, I tested it. I turned off my desk lamp, but stayed in my chair. I lowered my laptop brightness and watched through the curtain. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the blinds across the courtyard opened wider, not all the way, just enough to make the gap bigger. That was the first time I felt truly exposed. I became aware of everything visible from that window: my desk, my bed, the closet mirror, the bathroom door at the end of the hallway. The next day, I bought thicker curtains. I told myself it was because of the cold. But I did not close them all the way. I know that sounds stupid, but I had just moved in. I was proud of having my own place. I did not want some strange feeling to make me hide, so I left a small gap where the curtains met. That was when things moved from creepy to personal. The stairwell door near my unit had a bad latch. If the wind caught it, it would creak open and tap against the frame. But around 2 in the morning, it sounded different. One night, while helping a customer reset a password, I heard the stairwell door open slowly. Then soft footsteps came down the hall and stopped outside my apartment. I took off one side of my headset and listened. Nothing. Then there was one light tap on my door, not a knock. Just one tap, like someone testing the sound. I stared at the door. My customer was typing, unaware that I had stopped breathing. After a few seconds, I walked over and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. The next morning, I found a folded paper under my door. It said there would be a window inspection that week and tenants should keep their curtains open. There was no logo, no date, and no manager's signature. I took it to the leasing office before my shift. The woman at the desk frowned. "We don't have any window inspections scheduled." She kept the paper and said she would ask maintenance, but her face changed. That night, I did not turn on my lamp. I sat on my bed in the dark, wrapped in a hoodie, watching the opposite window through a tiny opening in my curtain. The blinds across the courtyard were open. A man was standing there. I could not see his face. The room behind him was darker than the courtyard lights, so he was only a black outline with one arm at his side. Then he raised his hand slowly, like he was waving at me. I backed away so fast my heel hit the bed frame. My phone buzzed almost immediately. It was a message request on social media from a profile with no picture, no post, and no followers. The message said, "You should close the curtain when you change after work." For a few seconds, I could not understand what I was reading. I had never told anyone there my full name. I did not have my apartment number online, but the username ended with my apartment number reversed. I locked my bedroom door, then my front door, then checked the chain twice. I called my friend Mara. I tried to sound calm, but the second she answered, my voice broke. I whispered everything from the floor beside my bed because standing near the window felt wrong. She told me to call security. I said I would, but I think I was still waiting for some normal explanation to appear. Then the stairwell door opened. I heard the slow creak, then soft footsteps in the hall. They stopped outside my apartment. My phone buzzed again. "Why are you hiding now?" Mara kept saying my name, but I could barely hear her. Then my doorknob turned once. Not hard, not violently, just a slow turn until the lock caught. I dragged my desk chair over and wedged it under the handle. The legs scraped so loudly I thought whoever was outside would run. They did not. I called building security with shaking hands. While I waited, I heard breathing on the other side of the door. Soft, close, like someone had lowered their face near the gap. Then something scraped along the bottom. A folded note slid inside. I did not touch it. I just stared at it on the floor until security knocked. They said they heard someone running down the stairwell, but by the time they reached the courtyard, whoever it was gone. Only after they were inside did I unfold the note. It said, "I liked it better when you forgot the curtains." I stayed at Mara's that night and refused to go back alone. The leasing office checked the apartment across the courtyard the next day. It was supposed to be vacant. The previous tenant had moved out weeks earlier, but someone had been getting in through a broken balcony lock. Inside, they found an old camping chair facing the window. There were food wrappers, binoculars on the sill, and pages of handwritten notes. Most of the notes were about me. At first, he called me Girl in 214. Later, somehow, he had my full name. The police took the papers, but the property manager accidentally told me enough. He had written down when I turned my lights on, when I left for groceries, when I opened my bedroom window, and when I showered after work. One note listed the exact nights I had forgotten to close my curtains. They never found him, at least no one ever told me they did. I moved out before the end of that month. I lost my deposit and bought curtains for my new place before I even bought a mattress. People think privacy is something you choose to have, but sometimes you do not realize you have given it away until someone has already built a routine around watching you. The worst part is that he was never really my neighbor, but he knew my home better than I did.